All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. I hope you're doing well. So, today is July 3rd, and 8 years ago today, on July 3rd, 2011, was the closing arguments in the Casey Anthony trial. So, closing arguments were on July 3rd, and then the prosecution did a rebuttal tomorrow on July 4th on America's Independence Day. And then on July 5th, after deliberating for 10 hours, the jury came back and said that she did not kill her daughter. And she got filing false police report, and with time served, she was let go on July 17th. So this time of year will always remind me of Casey Anthony. And if you remember, about 3 weeks ago, right before CrimeCon, she made the papers because she came out and she said, "I'm making a movie. I'm telling my side." And she comes out with this insane Daily Mail article where she goes, "I'm making a movie. It's called As I Was Told. It will show my side." And the big reveal is she comes home and Kaylee's lifeless, wet body is sitting there, drowned in the pool. She wasn't even there. And then a guy that she had never met or seen before said, "Casey, keep living your life. Keep partying. Keep acting like a totally neglectful mother, and I will take care of it." That's the story she's going with. She also said that the movie is going to consist of many sex scenes, mainly sexual. Tons of sex scenes where she's with many guys, and then a little sprinkle of her side of the story about how she murdered her daughter. Would love to know. So that was a month ago. I'd love to know where that movie's at. I would bet that it's bottomed out for a lot of different reasons. Financial, maybe motivation, maybe the people making it have just no business on making a full movie, but we'll see. But anyway, being that it's July 3rd, and I only talked about her once, in that episode a month ago, I told the story leading up to her arrest, which is totally crazy because she didn't report her daughter missing for a month, and then was just giving everyone around lines being like, "Hey, yeah, no, I got to go on a business trip, so you'll see." And then after a month, her parents figured it out, and they finally called the police, and that was the great moment where the police are talking to her mom, gives it to Casey, and she's talking to the 911 dispatcher, and the dispatcher goes, "Why haven't you called yet?" And she just goes, "Well, I've been exhausting other resources. I've been using other resources. So I was going to call you guys, but I wanted to exhaust my other resources first." And then the police are trying to find her daughter, and she leads them on a total wild goose chase all around town. It says she works at Universal. They go to Universal, and the cops are like, "Where's your office?" And she goes, "Down this hall, follow me." And then they get down to the end of the hall, and she goes, "Oh, actually don't work here." And then so she's arrested. She's brought in for an interrogation. The interrogation, nothing really happens. I think because of the whole wild goose chase around town, the detectives are just totally over her, hearing her insane lies. So nothing really happens in the interrogation. But today I'm going to go through. So I went through the first jailhouse phone call that she talked to her parents. It's the one where everyone's just trying to be like, "Kate, we need to find Kaylee." And she's like, "Oh, you guys, calling you was a huge waste." And her family's just like, "What? What do you mean? What else is..." And her friend gets on and goes, "Casey, why does the media and everybody say that you're lying?" And Casey goes, "Because no one is listening to anything I'm saying, which is hilarious because not only was everybody listening to whatever she was saying, they were listening with the intensity of a kid missing. No one will pay attention to you more than if they think you have the information to find the kid they're looking for. So not only were they listening, but they're writing everything down and trying to pick out and be like, Casey, where is she? What are you saying? This Zenaida is she with the nanny? What are you talking about? And Casey's just like, no one is listening to anything I'm saying. Everybody's just twisting my words. That's another thing she said. She goes, everybody's just twisting my words around. I tried to tell them that I work at Universal Studios, but then they just twisted my words around and then said I didn't. And I just... Okay. And then so that phone call, that first one, it's about 10 minutes long, is the day she got arrested. And then this phone call, which in my head, I just picture it as her interrogation. So this one is with her parents. And it's at least a few days after that first one, because by this time they have t-shirts made, the Have You Seen Me? And so her dad is, but it's not so much time where they have lost hope in a way. Like during this phone call, her parents think that there's a possibility if they just get through Casey and get through this weird, who is trying to get at our family. If they can just get her to talk, they feel like, especially the dad, like they could get Kaylee back that day. He says things like, well, we're hoping to get Kaylee back today. And Casey's like, yeah, that would be great, but we'll hang in there if we don't get her back today. There's this attitude, but we'll just get into it. So this is her parents sit down. It's the classic call, pick up the phone. They're on opposite sides of glass. And just if you think about the mindset of Casey at this point, she is sort of where Chris Watts was, where you have to act concerned. You have to act concerned, like you're wanting them to do everything they possibly can to find her. So she has to pretend that the whole time, which gets hard after, like we've seen in interrogations. It's easy to pretend that, hey, I'm just the concerned mom. It's easy to pretend that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But as it goes, you end up doing normal human. And also, she has to act concerned, the behavior like, what are they doing? Are you guys doing this? But she's the less concerned about what everyone's doing than anybody, which is weird. And then the second thing is she has to pretend to be happy that, like, People magazine is going to put Kaylee on the cover, which if you killed your daughter and you just want the whole thing to go away, the more publicity. So it's almost like how... Well, anyway, all right, let's just get into it. So they sit down. And I heard somewhere Casey always say that her role in their household was to make everybody laugh. She was always trying to make her dad laugh and make everybody laugh. And so they sit down and she immediately takes that role. She sits down and she's like, hi, guys. Almost this like, isn't this crazy? Look at me. I'm here. I killed my daughter. I'm sitting here in jail. So she has this like, isn't this crazy, you guys? And her parents just look like they got hit with a stick. They look just like they and it's almost, they're like, she's like, hi, look at where I'm at. And they're the opposite of just like, we're about to just die, Casey, if we can't, and so there's a weird, you can see that Casey, her whole life, has gotten through the crazy things she does by just being like, so they sit down. And Casey asks about the t-shirt. And Casey's mom goes, yeah, the t-shirts, they say, have you seen me? There's a picture. And she goes, Casey, everybody is wearing these t-shirts. Everybody is looking for our Kaylee. And Casey goes, okay. Just like, you would have think her mom just said, Casey, everybody is slowly killing your favorite thing, is the way that she said, okay. So she goes, everybody, and she goes, okay. And then she goes, Casey, the whole United States, thinking this was going to be good news for her daughter. She goes, Casey, the whole United States is looking for Casey. Or Kaylee. And Casey goes, I know, Mom. In this first part, when she goes, I know, Mom, it sounds like a melodrama. It sounds like a shitty college play with bad acting. Listen to it. The mom goes, the whole United States is looking for. She goes, I know, Mom. And then this is all without missing a beat. And she goes, she's going to be on People magazine. And just even more like, okay. No excitement at all. And then she goes, everybody in everybody in the whole country is looking for her. And Casey just goes, good. And then immediately she goes, so Lee was talking about, and tries to go to her, talking about her lawyer. She wants to be off this whole, because she can't be the normal amount of excited for, hey, she's going to be on a magazine cover. Can you believe that? The whole country's looking for her. And okay, sure, great. Well, anyway, Lee, and she tries to like immediately, and that's weird for her mom. You got to understand, I don't think that her parents they still think, like I said, that they could get Kaylee back on this day. They haven't lost. You can tell during the trial and everything, they're sitting there and they know. But at this moment, so the mom's sitting down thinking, like, if I tell her that she's going to be on People magazine, that will be this huge. And it's just like, Mom, I know, okay, I obviously know that she's going to be on magazine covers and stuff. But anyway, Lee was talking about, and she diverts to her, and that's weird that she immediately went and started, like, change the subject. So her mom goes, Casey, look at me. I want to see your eyes. I got to see your eyes. Look up at me. And Casey looks up into the camera, and she had been staring down and sort of away. And as she's saying, Casey, you have to look at me. I need that. Casey starts to cry. I think probably because this is a very intense lie session, and now that she's being put on the spot, saying, look at me in the eye, that's scary. So she, starts to cry, and the mom is happy about this because they had all been sitting there being like, why hasn't she cried? The media's saying that. So I think the parents were happy, like, it's okay to cry, Casey. We've all been crying. And she's sitting there crying, and the mom goes, can I ask you a couple questions? And she's sitting there crying. She's like, yeah, go ahead. As if at this time you can ask me questions. I'm not totally open for questions at all times. I know my daughter's been missing for a month, and I just seem totally crazy, but I'll answer some questions right now. Go ahead. That's the attitude. And she's crying, and her mom goes, there's a picture of an apartment with a drum set. Is that Zanny's apartment? And she's crying, and she goes, Zanny did have a drum set. But it's like, wait a second. Zanny never existed. Therefore, Zanny could not have a drum set, let alone an apartment. So people, just like that, we have our official first lie cry. So she starts lie crying. She was like, the mom goes, we have a picture of a drum set. Is it Zanny's? And she goes, oh yeah, Zanny has a drum set, but that picture of the apartment, the drum set, that's not Zanny's apartment. But she goes, like, it was set up very similar to that. And then the mom goes, do you think Zanny is working by herself? And just to remind you, the nanny that she concocted, his name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. And so Zanny the nanny, which the main theory behind that is that she would give little Kaylee Xanax to zonk her out so she could go party, and gave her too much, and she would joke, hey, it's Zanny the nanny, Zanny bar. And then once it happened, she had to concoct Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. And so the mom's acting, did Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez act alone? And she goes, Mom, I don't know. I don't have anything to go off of right now. That's hilarious. Casey, she's just sitting in jail and just goes, I don't have anything to go off of right now about. And then, to change the subject again, Casey goes, I saw that a woman at the airport said that she had saw Kaylee and had gone up and talked to her, and the girl said that she was Kaylee. Who's looking into that? And the parents are like, the sheriff said they're totally looking into that. And Casey goes, well, I want other people to, not just the sheriff. They're twisting, they're misconstruing everything I say. I want you guys to look into it. So just think what a nightmare Casey is. Not only is she wasting the taxpayers' money by sending detectives all over the country saying Zenaida might be in North Carolina, saying Zenaida might be in Miami, saying Zenaida might be in New York. And not only does she want the police to go on this wild goose chase, but her poor parents who are trying to just get through the day, just trying to eat food and sleep and not totally emotionally collapse. And she's like, can you guys, knowing full well that it's just nothing, she goes, can you guys go? I want you guys to be investigating this stuff too. And they're sitting there like, okay, yeah, we're doing everything we can, Kaylee. Thanks for ruining our lives, babe. And she's like, the mom asked, does Zenaida, could she be in North Carolina? And she goes, yeah, definitely, possibly has ties in North Carolina. And she goes, what's Zenaida's mom's name? Kaylee goes, Gloria. And then they go, have you ever met Zenaida's aunt? And she goes, no. And they go, what's the aunt's name? She goes, Josephina. So Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez and her mom Gloria and her aunt Josephina and her cousin Shmita. What a family. All right, so then the mom kind of taps out. She just hands the phone to dad. And her dad is so nice. Seems like such a nice dad. And currently they don't have a relationship. They don't talk. And in a recent interview, someone from Dateline or someone asked her dad, would you want to talk to Kaylee these days? And he says no. And you can't blame him. She's just a total lying piece of shit. So hands the phone to dad, and he goes, he's had all this verbiage of like, we want to find her today. Like, what can I do to find her right now? We want to, and he's saying he wants to take her pain away and give her a big Papa Joe hug, and it's just totally sad. We need to find her. Gives the phone back to mom. And they ask her, do you have a message for Zanny? She goes, just bring Kaylee back. I just want her to come back, okay? And then they say, do you have a message for... Oh yeah, she asked, do you have any, or what do you think Zenaida's reasons are? And just annoyed, Kaylee goes, Mom, I don't know. She has that mom, ... down, just Mom, I don't know. You would think that she was grounded for 2 nights for missing curfew the way she's like, Mom, my daughter's dead, Mom. Why are you being so, ugh? And then, so this is the point where it never gets to in the actual interrogation. So as this has been going, and they're talking about Zenaida, and they're talking about, they're boiling it down, like, why would Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez want Kaylee? Does she want a ransom? And Kaylee doesn't really have an answer to that, and so she has this attitude of like, come on, huh? And then Casey's strategy to shut it down as it's getting more and more to the point of like, you have to at some point answer one of these questions. She gets into this whole, like, I'm trying to protect the family. There's so much that you guys don't know. And so she's like, Mom, I don't know. And her mom goes, are you trying to protect us? And she goes, I am. I'm trying to protect the family. Nothing from what I did, but I can't say anymore. I can't. There's nothing more. And her parents, who I guess are just delusional, go with it. That's where her dad, who used to be a detective or whatever, needed to be like, no, Casey, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. But they're like, okay, yeah, you don't have to say more. Well, we trust you. Yeah, great. We trust you. You don't have to. And then Casey, just the most insane part. She goes, okay. She goes, I've been talking to Lee. And what I'm going to do is, this is Casey's big plan. Are you guys ready? The big plan. She goes, you guys, what I'm going to do, I talked to Lee about this already. I'm going to start writing all of you guys individual letters, okay? And I'm going to send them through the mail. She makes a big show of being like, I'm going to send them through the jail mail, the old-fashioned send you guys letters. And her parents are just sitting there, underslept, under-eaten, missing their granddaughter, missing their old life, totally wasted with exhaustion and confusion, and just at the end of their pitiful rope. And Casey's like, I'm going to write everybody a letter. And they're sitting there like, her mom goes, Casey, I don't want to wait for a fucking letter. She doesn't say that, but she goes, Casey, I don't want to wait for a letter to come through the mail. What are you talking about? And then she starts talking about like, oh, I'm protecting our family, not from anything that I've done. And then her mom goes, is someone threatening us? Is someone threatening us? And she just goes, Mom, leave it at that. Just leave it at that. And her mom goes, okay, I trust you. And then her dad goes, what can I do? Can I talk to the media? And her dad starts saying, like, well, we need to get you out. I don't want to see you in here. We need to get Kaylee back today, and then I want to get you out. And it's really telling. Someone not guilty would be furious they were in jail. You should be furious. Most of the people are furious in jail anyway, because it sucks. It's brutal. And Casey's not. She has this attitude of like, if I have to be here, her dad is like, we need to get you home today. I want you home. I want Kaylee home. Like, kind of mad, the maddening tone that she has this attitude of like, if I need to stay here, that's okay, right? I'm eating a little food, I'm safe here. And that to me is just such a guilty attitude, because if your daughter was stolen by Zenaida Hernandez-Gonzalez, and you're just a spoiled mess like Casey, you would be like, Mom, you get me out of here. What am I doing in here? This is crazy. But she's like, no, I'll stay here. It's okay. My priority is Kaylee. If I have to be here, that's okay. All right? As long as everything, I'm going to write you a few letters. All right? I'm going to send them through the snail mail. We'll get you a letter. All right? I'm writing letters in here. So it's totally okay. It's fine, because I sent you a letter. And her parents just they're at the point where they're still like, what? So I think the fact that she's sitting there like, I'm okay, all right? Isn't this crazy? I'm here is just comes off so guilty to me. But I'm going to cut it off there. That's about halfway through this call. They did play this whole call at the trial. And like I said, this time of year will always feel like Casey Anthony time for me, because she was arrested October 14th, and then it just built craziness, and then closing arguments today. So I remember it just coming down to, and then on July 4th, I was way late to some barbecue or something, because I was sitting there trying to watch HLN's website to see the final day. But I'm going to cut it off there. Probably talk about her again tomorrow. And then, we'll keep it moving. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. And, I'll see you next time. Why? Dive in wide.